Weekly check-in number 5. This one's going to be quick. I have to go to a basketball tournament all weekend with my kid. Earlier this week, we went to town to practice basketball for him. And while he was doing that, I went to our local library. I had the cutest little library in my town. It's beautiful, actually. In the library, they have a used bookstore, and I adore it. It's all donations, and it's run by volunteers. Outside of that little library bookstore, they have a cart of free books. They're things that they know they can't sell, so they just give them away for free. I love the cart. I do. I find treasure there every time. The biggest treasure I've ever found was this Linda Goodman's love signs. Linda Goodman is referenced a lot for astrologers that are kind of our legacy astrologers now, the ones that are that have been around for a while. And Linda Goodman, I never have read any of her books. This one, Love Signs, is perfect because it goes with this idea of The Trail of Love. That's the book that I have over here that I just published. And those are ideas about what does even love mean? What are the different variants? How does it go? Well, she covers it, man. She has it covered. How fat and loved this book is. It's from 1986. This person, Sarah, owned it. It's comprehensive. She does this with all the sun signs. Taurus and Libra, here's one, for example. She does the whole Taurus and Libra dynamic, and then she goes into if you're a Taurus woman with a Libra man or a Libra man with a Taurus woman, 2 different chapters. That's why it's so fat, because she goes through all of the sun signs and how they relate to each other. And it's surprising. You know, I've read some of the ones that were square that we've been talking about, the mutable squares particularly. Gosh, it does make a lot of sense. She does say that there's some friction between certain signs, but that they do have a commonality. And I've been trying to figure out the whole concept of relationships for my whole life. It's the whole point of why I do astrology. It's try to understand people and how we relate to each other. When you're with other people, you're gonna get that feeling, that gut feeling, even when you just meet somebody. And what's happening is, I think our spheres of our energy fields, which is based on our natal charts, are interacting with each other invisibly. But we're constantly reflecting and experiencing different variants of ourselves through relationships with others. And definitely there's going to be ones that you have more synastry with, where you're just like, oh yeah, I know you. And maybe that's past life stuff. It's karmic. I think it has to do with the nodes. It's all a work in progress I'm trying to figure out. And this is explained through the synastry that we have that's kind of invisible. We don't really know it, but we can feel it. When you see it in a chart and you're just like, oh, I love that person already and I just barely met them. That's synastry. So we have this baseline based on our charts, whatever. And then there's interaction and different aspects of that. It's going to be interacted with other people and expressed with different people. So with one person, that's why we can be really, really serious and they're not going to get our jokes. It's going to be like, no, I can't joke with this person. It's just going to fall. Or they don't listen or whatever. They might not listen to you, but they might listen to someone else. Someone else's jokes are going to make them laugh till their belly hurts, whatever. So one person we could be really silly with or feel accepted and confident, and another person we could feel rejected and confused. We're the same person. Sometimes we're wild and free, or sometimes we're reserved, but we're always the same person. It's just how are we different? It's based on the interaction, the synastry. In any lifetime, then we have multiple intercorollary lives that we lead based on who we're around. How we can express that is based on the interaction in any iteration of relational, I don't know, too many words. Sorry. What is the constant? The constant is the observer that's behind it all. There's spirit that's interacting with spirit, and it's pretty much watching itself. So we're interacting with ourselves in different variants, in different forms, and it's watching the dramas, the comedies, all these things that happen to us. And there's an authentic thread that's woven through it all. It's very patient, it's very pure, even when we're unsettled or unraveling. But there's love inside that's soft and accepting all the variants of who we are. All of those pieces are parts of us. And sometimes we don't even see them until we interact with others. Like, gosh, I never knew I could have that much fun with somebody, or I never knew I could connect that way with someone, or wow, I never knew that I could be so repulsed in a way. I don't know, something like that. And it's all just parts of us interacting with other fractal parts of us in a response to the spirit. So thank you, Linda Goodman. Thank you, library free cart. Also in the free cart, somebody was getting rid of all their travel books, and they're all from the 80s, and they're phenomenal. This is a Spanish art book from the Prado Museum. Never been to Spain.
I've never been to Spain.
Kind of really want to go to the Prado Museum now.
But I kinda like the music.
Some beautiful art there.
Oh, I've never been to Spain.
Lake Como. I could not leave this one there. It's from the 80s, I'm sure, maybe even the late 70s. It's got the lira pricing in the back. It's 8,000 lira. I went to Lake Como. My sister-in-law got married there. We took our baby when he was just a year old. And it was wintertime. We had hot chocolate in this restaurant. I've never had anything like that. It was like not like American hot chocolate. It's like the thickest. It's basically a melted chocolate bar. And we went to Bellagio because I'd seen it in Las Vegas, and it's nothing like that. It's much better. No reason to pick this up, other than the fact that I have a little fascination with that area of the world that I think I would be very interested in. Moldova and Romania, looks like kids play the cello. A few books that I purchased really quickly, Robert Burns' Poems and Scots in English. Hard to read, but I think it'll be worth it. It's beautiful. This is one I've wanted for a long time. It's Khalil Gibran, The Prophet. It's a masterpiece. I've already started reading it. It's actually in the public domain as well, which is exciting. But wow, what beautiful writing. If you've read that or you have a connection to Khalil Gibran, it's funny, speaking of my sister-in-law, when I got married, she actually read a Khalil Gibran poem in Italian. So now I'll get to read it in English and understand what it means, because I had no idea what she was saying at the time. The book jacket, I like to take those off. Reveal. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And the last book I purchased was The Hemingway Reader. So it's a bunch of his short stories. I like the stories about Kilimanjaro and Africa that he wrote. They're very good. And Sun Also Rises is in there, which is one of my favorite Hemingway books. Little book haul, huh? Not just one today. I gave you a lot of crazy books, lots of books. Sometimes we have to praise the algorithm for bringing things into our lives that we didn't know we wanted. And this is the song for this week. It's actually a whole album. It's Cosmic Gnome Banjo, Enchanting Space Folk Campfire Jam. Oh my God. Aaron Reviews says, this is like a checkpoint for weird people, but the good kind. So, I guess that pretty much sums it up. It's time to go to the basketball game. I like you just the way you are. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next time.